Hangouts. Welcome back, everybody, to 3D Hangouts. I'm Noah Ruiz, designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is Pedro.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2017. I'm Pedro Ruiz, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printing projects feature electronics from Adafruit.
That sounds about right. This is where we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics to make inspirational projects for you, for me, for you. Welcome to 2017, everybody. We took a week off last week, but we're back now. I'm recovering from the sickness, and Pedro is doing good. Pedro held up the fort while I was dead.
I am well, although I'm sure the sickness is coming right around back to me.
I hope not, man. I had a bad time.
We wish you all good health in the coming new year.
Yes.
This coming new year. This year.
This year. This is episode 118. So we've been doing this
Oh my God.
for about every week for the past 2 years. So we're coming up to our 2-year anniversary. So we'll see. Well, for the show, we've been here for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But I want to welcome everybody to the show with a friendly coupon code. Oh my goodness! Look at all you lovely faces. Look at everybody in the chat room. Explosions of people.
Shout outs to Apt Pupil, Polio, Julius, Echo 85, Will,
Wow!
Boy,
Hello from Germany. Hello from Finland. Hello from Spain.
Tom.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Too much.
Australia.
Hello,
So many
Australia.
people. Thank you guys for joining. I didn't think a lot of people would come in because it's still kind of a day off, I guess.
Sorta.
Yeah. So, yeah, thumbs up. So this week, the coupon code is solder. Now, I like to say solder. A lot of people like to say solder.
I say both.
You say both? I like solder because it has an L in it. And a lot of people in Europe say it. I got used to the metric system, so I might as well get used to all the other words. Zed.
If only.
Zed. I like Zed.
Only one day we could all use the metric system.
3D printing is slowly changing that. That and Pokemon Go.
So today's coupon code gets you 10% off in the Adafruit store. You can get materials,
Whatever's left in stock.
boards.
We're working hard to get all their stuff manufactured. All the Arduinos, all the feathers, all the pies. We don't manufacture pies, but...
Hello from Portugal, Pakistan, Idaho, Texas,
Biggest show ever.
Jersey, UK.
Wow, Tom's printing Pi Girl on his MK4. Sweet. Take a photo and show me.
Please post a
I would love
remake.
to retweet it. All right, well, guess what? Also, we got free stuff still going on miraculously. If you go to adafruit.com/free, you can see what deals we have. We still have the deals that were happening. Did this page update? Refresh. No, I think it's still good. As of December 13th, we're no longer offering the Feather Basic. Oh well, but we still have these pens and stuff. I guess they're still going. We got a lot of them. I don't have them.
So let's go ahead and jump into this week's, what are you, prototyping?
Okay, well, it's really last week's project, remember? You want to do GoPro?
Yeah, so
GoPro,
it should be
GoPro.
called, what projects have you made?
Yeah, let's change that. Let's change that to what projects have you made?
Since that's actually what we talk about. So over the holiday weekend, I was supposed to take a break, and I was setting up the new GoPro and noticed that the included case is horrible. It was hard to take off. It was
Why
the
was it
tolerances
horrible?
was super tight. It was like chunky for.
It was a pain in the butt to take it apart, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it
GoPro Hero 5 is the new hotness. And you needed one because the other one blew out. We used it so much for time lapses that it overheated and just kind of crapped out.
Yeah.
Now we could probably fix it, but we really want that new image stabilization and a bunch of other features that the GoPro 5 has.
So we have 2 3s, and then he had 1 2, GoPro Hero 2, and that's the one that blew out.
Oh, man.
It's pretty old. We got it when they first came
Excuse me.
out, so it was ready for an update. And like you were saying, we do so many time lapses. Some of them are like
Yeah, it's
takes
worth checking out
3
the new one.
days, or it takes like 3 days of continually being
Yeah.
on.
They don't
plugged
even
into
use
the wall.
They're plugged into the wall. It's like we don't even use the battery anymore.
So I came up with this nice little Ninjaflex design, printed it with flexible material, so it's easy to take out, easy to pop back in.
Yeah. I like how you get a new thing. I was like, I need to make something for it.
Yeah, if you're a frequent watcher of the show, you notice that every camera that I get, whether it be a drone or a 360
you
camera,
gotta
or
do
regular
something.
camera, I always have to make something because I saw a tweet posted that somebody was like, "Oh, this is all I need. I can't believe no manufacturer makes this," and it was just a dual knuckle design.
A dual knuckle for the GoPro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Thingiverse.
So it's pretty much tradition now to you get something new, you always 3D model something for it. So the
it's useful.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this design is that it has the built-in quarter 20 for the tripods, which is what I really needed. I didn't want the knuckle that usually comes with the GoPros because it can't bend down. So we're using the little mini tripod heads that we have in the store. We're using a 3/4 the quarter 20 converter for the tripods.
Yeah, it's standard.
Standard. Sits flush up against the bottom here, so it won't scratch anything up. Using the Ninjaflex to give protection to the sides, and especially the back side here of the LCD screen. So you can just lay that down. When we were testing out the time-lapse settings for this, before I made the case, there was one gripe that I had about it, because I couldn't believe that even though it looks like the plastic is like rubber, it's actually not. It's just hard plastic.
Oh, okay.
So you can easily, get dung around.
But it is waterproof.
It's waterproof, which is why
without a waterproof case.
A little scratching my head there, why it needed such a big case with the hard open latch on there. So you have access to your ports here, which you're going to need if you're doing time lapses. So you can easily plug in your USB connector inside there to keep it powered on.
Yeah.
So we got that going for it. And then I haven't tested this, but because of the extrusion that I had to do here to fit the tripod, this might act as a flotation device.
If the infill's low, maybe.
Yeah, and the infill's pretty low on this one, so it's like 15%.
Cool.
You can see the squishiness on there.
So what I like is you can print Ninjaflex with support material, and it's totally possible. And you kind of needed support material for this area here.
Yeah, for the bridging that happens
It's
over the port here, definitely needed that. Otherwise, it would just flop over.
So it doesn't print vertically; it prints this on the face down. This is the face down.
Yep. So it prints face down.
Cool.
Should print as is. Did a little bit of work for making sure that the buttons on here, you don't have to squish so hard on them, so it has these little X's on the bottom there. So you look at the STL files, it'll be easier to...
actuators. To
little actuators that'll click down on that. And then the little cutouts for the LED, so you can see when it starts recording. Yeah, the status of it. So that shines through very nicely on that. And then the only thing that it's missing is like a little ring or something that would protect the front lens here, because as it is right now, you still can damage that if it falls down, but everything else will be just fine.
Right, but from a sort of usability standpoint, it's just a quicker way to get your GoPro in and out of your tripod.
Yeah,
it really is.
Because right now, with the older GoPros, now you have to sit there and take the screw off or take the quick release plate off, and it's still...
So you have access to all the buttons, all the ports.
Yeah. So this now, I just popped this whole camera body out because the SD card is now housed on the inside of that for waterproofing.
This is designed for Ninjaflex, where tolerances are really key here. So your tolerances are really tight, so this would not work with regular PLA, for example.
Yeah, some people were asking if we could redo the design. No, you have access to all
for
the
PLA?
files. Yeah, you have.
I don't think it would work like that. It really wouldn't.
No, you have to adjust
You'd have to
sizing.
kind of do a different approach. So you might have to need a latch or something.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah,
it just wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, because of the way that the lip is.
Yeah, you can't really.
You won't be.
You can't really bend PLA without breaking. So it just doesn't really work that way. So, all right, cool. Well,
yes, this will definitely be cool with your drone. If you like crash it or something like that, it will have protection.
It's got some extra protection.
The lens here. Instead of print a little ring around it.
Right.
So I wrote up a whole guide, which I was not planning to do. I was just gonna build this and use it for myself. But
one of the biggest questions we get is like, how do you print an Ninjaflex? You got a nice set of settings and a good little walkthrough of how you added manual supports in Simplified 3D. Which is that's really what you're paying for, is the manual supports and all the granular settings that come with it. Yeah,
so you are going to need 4mm pillars placed around the bridging on the top side of the port opening there.
And you didn't need any here? Wow.
No, you don't need any of that.
That's good. Or in the hole?
For the lip, there's...
catches itself, huh?
There's going to be some cleanup, not a lot, but just a little bit for the lip portion that's protecting the monitor.
Let's go back a little bit back up to so one of the main things is heat.
Yeah, somebody was asking on Twitter that he was having problems printing Ninjaflex on his Flash 4H Creator Pro.
Yeah.
The top tip is to use 240C for the print temperature.
Sometimes you need to print slower,
and
because like 30, but this one was at 60?
Yeah, sometimes at 30, but for this, because it's such a simple design, You can go up to 60 millimeters a second.
Sweet.
Is what I used, and 240 for the temperature. That'll make the flow a lot better.
Yeah,
and
non-heated bed too.
Yeah, I didn't use heat on this. I just used the blue tape.
Blue tape.
And then the other trick was
slow down the support speed, no?
the support speed. Yeah, if you scroll down there, you can see that the support underspeed was set to 30%. And then the dense infill percentage was also set to 30%. So that'll just make sure that it's thin, it's not touching the walls of the main body, and you're printing slower, so the nozzle isn't going all over the place, just squirting support material everywhere where it'll get caught up into the main body. So those are the two tricks there.
Another thing is retraction, right? You could turn that off if you have under extrusion. If it's not extruded enough, just turn off retraction. But in this case, you had it on.
I just left it on, yeah. The flash forward is able to do a good job with that.
And
because it has a spring-loaded direct drive, there was no modifications needed. You didn't have to install a new drive or anything like that.
It's stock nozzle.
All stock.
Great. Very cool. A lot of people can benefit from these type of settings. It'll vary obviously on printer to printer, but for the most part it works well. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I talked about printing Ninjaflex on the Printerbot Simple 2016, and the trick there was just to crank up the volume 240. It was at 235. Literally 5 degrees really makes a difference. So that's what made it print really properly. Flow, So that's it right there.
Second tip to use for all the cleanup that you're gonna need on any print, not just Ninjaflex, the trusty Haku flush diagonal cutters is what we use on all of our cleanup. Does an excellent job of really getting up onto the closest edge on getting all the support material off and doing any retraction cleanup as well.
Cool. All right.
You get those in the shop, Ninjaflex. You can choose any color. We just chose orange here to pick it out against any backgrounds that might blend in with the camera. And I've been using this for about a week now, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's solid.
Really happy that that I made a customized version of this, so you can easily
change the parameters around.
Some
dimensions.
And then
so the Fusion file's up there, and you can download it and modify it in any program, really.
Yep, and if you just check out everything on the timeline there, you can just double click on that to switch around any of the sizes.
Sure, maybe thicker, maybe thinner.
If you want to move around the tripod adapter to the side or the top or anything for different applications,
or use the housing for like a complete mounting system for a racing quad.
Yeah.
That could work, because a lot of the racing dogs have like a sleeve that's built into the chassis.
There's an idea. A whole body built out of, with dual extruded Ninjaflex maybe.
Cool.
So if you're in the market for a new camera, you got yourself a GoPro, check out this design.
Yep.
Very cool. This week's design though.
Oh, back to this week? Where is it?
This super cute, super simple little Adabot head solder dispenser. So it's pretty much a storage for your different spools of solder. Is that correctly?
Yeah.
So I have the thicker diameter and the thinner diameter. I don't remember what is it, 0.31
pitch
for the smaller.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So super simple, just houses that, has the built-in little holders. You can kind of see it on the top. Yeah, the spool holder. Actually, you can see a lot more better on this other one, because you can also use it as a tape dispenser.
Just switch out his lips.
Yeah, you can switch out the mouth part, and then the little springy and little tape holder on there, so you can hold a couple rolls of tape in there. But you can see that kind of black. You can't really see the inside there. But there's a little spool holder there for the solder, and then on the inside there for the for tape. And then there's a little hole down here. You can stick one of the little
it has a razor blade or something?
teeth. Yeah, no, it's like from Saran wrap.
Saran wrap. Okay.
Just took some of that off there.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time trying to 3D print one, and it just did not work. All the teeth would just rip right off.
Okay.
So you can do that, or just have it, which I think will get the most use.
I would use it
as a solder dispenser.
Oh. So that helps to keep your solder from unwinding.
So they spin independently, even though they're stacked on top of each other, and it's pretty easy to roll them back up since you have access to the back here.
Soldor. Soldor.
And a lot of cute little details with the eyes, mouth, and the little adjustable antennae there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can move his eyes around. You can look at all the
So definitely a cute little project for that electronic hobbyist in your life.
Yep. You also made
a
guide. Here's how to put it together.
Yeah, super simple guide on some of the parts and tools that we use to make this. Because of the fillets on the...
the filament is teal, PLAPHA, that we have in the shop, Pedro. We had this custom color made for us, which is kind of cool. So custom teal color. You printed on the Type A and the Delta Printer Go. Anything else you want to talk about? The slice settings are here, pretty standard.
Pretty standard. No support material was required for this. Everything is at a 45-degree angle using giraffes inside of Fusion to make sure that you need it. Oh, there is support materials just for the mouth, just because of the way it has to print upwards. And I talk about how to set that up there. It's just a 2mm pillars. I use the auto-generate feature after you set the pillar resolution to that. And same stuff with the underspeed for the structures and the dense infill percentage, 30%, so it's not so dense. And
excellent.
It's not so fast when it's printing. And of course, you can edit design if you want to mount these in a different way. Because right now you can, like I showed you, you can mount tape this vertically, but you won't be able to do it with these solder spools because of the sizing of it. So we just have to adjust the vertical size on it if you want to mount it a different way.
You can make it come out of his eyes, or make it come out of his nostrils, or come out of his ears.
Well, he doesn't have a nose, so the mouth, I think, was the easiest. And because you can easily swap out the mouth,
it's in the right position for,
is why you're able to
dispensing.
Yeah, turn it into a tape dispenser as well. If you did it through the nose, you'd have to print an entire different head for that.
Okay.
So you always got to think about
usability.
Usability. Yeah. That's why it's coming out of his mouth.
Excellent.
So super easy little design there. Unfortunately, it takes about 2 hours to print because
why? So it's thick and.
It's not thick. It's 1.5 millimeters.
Why does it take so long?
On the walls. I don't know. And that's printing at 80 millimeters a second on a Type A machine. So it's printing fast.
You might need to use a big nozzle, like a 0.8 nozzle.
Some of the detail probably wouldn't resolve.
Detail?
Yeah, on the inside here for the mounts for the spool and stuff, and then the holes that hold all the pegs for the ears.
What's the resolution at 0.2?
0.2?
0.3, man. All right. Cool.
So some things that you could add on to there. Somebody was saying in the comments, adding a motor so it could automatically dispense when you push down a button or something like that. But of course, that would increase the size of it. And as it is right now, it's a nice tiny little. I mean, from this angle, it looks nice and tiny, but
his head's a little elongated.
Yeah, I had to elongate the head to fit
alien.
The spools in there. So
that's cool.
Super simple design. Again, you can get the Fusion 360 files to check out. I don't know, maybe you'll learn some techniques on the way the drafts are performed.
Yeah, there's a lot of tolerances going on here, right? So getting the eyes to fit right, getting the mouth, getting the ears and the plugs for the
pins, the size of the pins.
Yeah, so it's a little involved. I mean, you got to paint stuff.
Yeah, it took me 2 weeks to make this.
It took me 2 weeks to make this Adabot thing. But it's fun. It was a time off thing, no electronics. It helped you build electronics.
Tom Burns says, I wonder what Lady Ada and Phil say about you abusing young Adabot. Who do you think told me to make this project?
What do you mean abusing him? How are we abusing him?
So it was actually Phil's idea to make it into to a tape dispenser.
Yeah. And then I said you should make it.
Once I couldn't figure out the stupid little razor blade thing, I was like, well, this project's going nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, why don't you just do it to a solder dispenser?
Yeah. And that
actually makes more sense with DIY electronics, right?
Yeah.
So there we are.
I was all dazed up and drugged up on
the cough syrup.
On cough syrup. I was like,
So yeah, this is another Phil idea, which is
Phil
I really like his ideas because they sound crazy at first, but then when you actually make them, it's like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, like the phone flash charger, that was brilliant.
Yeah. So check it out.
Who doesn't want flesh eating chargers? Okay, well check out the thing if you want to get some filament or something.
Get the filament, printers, materials, tools, everything you need to build our lovely projects here. Let's go ahead and move on.
I got one.
Layer
I
by layer
want to
section?
show you what I'm working
Oh,
on.
yeah. You're working on
Yeah. Do you guys remember the...
I think this trend is still going.
The trend's still hot. It's still piping. This is a fidget spinner, and I made one out of an Adafruit logo. So the Adafruit logo is something I put together as a practice to figure out how to do T-splines in Fusion, which are these lovely curvature solids. And I made it, and I 3D printed it, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But then, as I kept seeing more and more of these fidget spinners, I thought I'd make the Adafruit logo into a fidget spinner because it's a perfect shape for it. It's very symmetrical. It has 5 little petals and whatnot. But this was interesting because instead of printing it flat, it's printed vertically. So you can see that there's no flat edges at all. It's completely curvy, puffy, and beautiful. So I printed this on the Printerbot Play using support material. And the center here is printed at 100 microns to get this really nice thing. But this whole thing is printed in 200 microns and with support material and a raft. So it was very critical to use a raft and support material. Otherwise, this wouldn't print at all. They're not 2 pieces, just one solid print. And of course, one of the tips, I guess, is to kind of test your tolerances before you print the whole thing. So I printed little rings vertically upwards with a flat bottom so that I could test the tolerances for the diameter of this 608 bearing. We carry these bearings, and I've used it in one project, so I had an extra one laying around. And I figured I'd try to make a spinner, so that was it. Let me show you what it looks like printed here.
I think it's so fun.
I don't know why it's so silly and simple, but it's fun.
You see that the
what is it?
when it's spinning, you can kind of
see. Yeah, you can almost see a negative Adafruit logo. Well, as it slows down, you kind of see it. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of different spinners out there, and this one has 20% infill. That's kind of neat. All right, I'm going to switch to video now.
So smooth.
It's so smooth. I love it. And it's printed in coffee filament from Protopasta. So this is it printing on the Printerbot Play. And again, there's the support material. You can see how it looks like. It's auto-generated support. There's a raft at the bottom. This is all sliced with Simplify 3D. And the infill's 20%. And it came out incredibly high quality. Very nice. 200 microns again. It took about an hour to print, which is like, wow, how did it print so fast? It was printing at regular 50 millimeters a second. So I'm going to release this probably later today. I'm going to take some photos of it. But that's sort of stage 1. I think what Pedro had an idea was to actually...
how do we make this even better than do it Adafruit style? It's not going to be making a cool design. It's going to be making a completely PCB spinner with LEDs on it, with a tilt switch, so when it spins, the LEDs come on. So that's our approach to that.
I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give that a shot. I got another mill in the shop, so I'll try to spin up a new board. Do some surface mounting. Figure out the right balances for the coin cells, because we're going to need a coin cell battery.
Yeah.
And the tilt switch. So it's a little practice of balance and surface mounting. Surface mounted. Yeah. So I don't know. Pretty cool. Spinner. Fun little fidget toy. I'll have this file up later today on Thingiverse. Since it's early in the morning, I'll have it up later today so you guys can check it out.
Man,
it's a good test for your printer's ability to print support material and rafts and stuff. Because again, it's printed vertically.
Yeah, there's no way to print this completely downward, because then you'll get all those pointy, and then it'll, what's it called?
Red potato is it red potato? Red Prado is asking. There's a tutorial? Not yet. I do want to do a layer by layer on how I put together the T-splines, which is a very good lesson. So I'll try to do that later this week, once my voice is cleared up and stuff, because it sounds like crap.
So someone's asking what material this is.
What do you mean?
It's the coffee material that we have in the shop.
Yes, this brown material is a composite PLA that's mixed with actual coffee grinds.
This stuff here.
So this is from the lovely folks from Protopasta. You can pick this up in our shop. We got it too. And it comes in 175 or 2.85 filament. It's a half of a kilogram. And it can be annealed.
Yeah,
so you can heat it up. Yeah. I love it because the weight of it, the 20% infill really worked out. So the weight distributes the balance evenly. It's kind of cool. So, Adafruit spinner.
Yep. So we might do a whole project on it just because it'll give us some buffer time while you make the PCBs.
Yeah, it's a great
the
project
LEDs
to
on
print. I mean, it's just fun. And the 608 skate bearings are pretty standard. You can get them in our shop or anywhere else, really.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good approach to add some LEDs, because I think we've seen one person who's added LEDs to it. But it's not a custom PCB board.
Yeah, I don't know where they got it. I think they just glued some LEDs.
Oh, yeah. See, that's not the way.
Things.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that, but...
No, you could. I'm just saying that's not the Adafruit way.
That's not the Adafruit way?
You gotta build a custom PCB on your other mill.
All right. So that's what I got working on. I don't know if I said that right. That's what I'm working on. All right. That's what we're working on.
So you had a couple of layer by layers.
Yeah, last week I had a bunch. It was mainly it was an assortment of tutorials for the Cherry MX gamepad project. So I had one on EagleCAD and one on how to make the Cherry MX keycap, and then how to make the enclosure simply. So check those out if you haven't already. I cleaned up some of the playlists over the break, so they're now chronological order, so you can watch them chronologically. Yep. On YouTube, we have links down below in the description as well, so you can check those out. And I think I have like 70 or 80 tutorials, so I'm working on more ones. I got one I'm sitting on for another enclosure for the time-lapse spy camera, but I'm sitting on it because my voice is messed up.
Yeah, that's an upcoming project as well, on a $12 time-lapse camera that you can get. If you don't want to get a GoPro, you can spend as little as $12.
Cool.
It's awesome.
All right, more library scum. All right, shop talk. This is I like this segment.
And one thing that we forgot to mention during, not last week, the last show, was right in the middle of the show is when we hit 200,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and sharing. It means a lot to us. We're going to keep doing it. So 200.
We have a 10-foot long list of projects all up.
Ever-growing list of projects. So
I don't think we'll ever get
Please
through
keep
them.
us feeding the list.
Yeah.
It'll get as long. Awesome.
Again, if share all our videos around.
Yeah,
more.
I know it's a lot to share, but
Thumbs up.
helps us out.
That always helps the algorithm.
Yep. So thank you.
So
this
week's
week,
shop talk.
it's about snakes.
It's about this week's Time-Lapse Tuesday video, which is this dual extruded snake.
Check out these snakes, guys.
So I printed this on the Ultimaker, but it didn't start off there. The actual file is not dual extruded.
Wait a minute. This is printed place.
Printed place, little
The joints are printed in
joints.
place.
So it's nothing new. You know, we've seen dresses and belts, but it's always good for people just getting in.
Wristbands.
Watches,
hinges.
wristbands.
These are just a bunch of hinges assorted
so
in a way where it looks like a snake. And there's like little snake scales on them too. So it's pretty much no support material.
So this is from Lucas West on Thingiverse. He uploaded this a couple days ago.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, what the heck? Let me test this out.
What the heck?
I printed this on the FlashForge Creator Pro using PLA PHA, and it came out unbelievably soft because there's like no rough edges. It's all completely...
Yeah, PLA is a great alternative to something like ABS because you get that flexibility, you get the strength, and you get the softness. So it's not like this rigid, sharp-edged PLA that we're used to.
And there's only one parameter for the hinges, so it's super thin, and it was able to do a very precise printout on that. It's super smooth. I really wish I could have used this for the end shot in the time lapse where I'm doing the animation, having to go like that. Because on the Ultimaker, it's a little bit rough. You can see in some of the frames they pop out like that because it's not, you know, when you're dual extruding, and I didn't calibrate it as fine as I could have, and because I had to use the glass plate under there, I had to use a very large brim under there, so all of the bottom parts are pretty sharp.
So what was fascinating me about this project is that it wasn't designed for dual extrusion at all. It's a single print, and you somehow remixed it to be dual extruded. How did you do this?
Yeah, so if we jump into Simplify 3D, we can take a look at separating the meshes so we can have each section of the snake be a different color.
First of all, here it is printing on the FlashForge.
Yeah, just a nice little time-lapse of that. So this is just printing at 2 millimeters for the layer height, or 0.2 millimeter layer height, and no supports, just using blue tape and a bit of heat because each section has a large fillet on it, so it does tend to curl up.
Okay.
So you just want to make sure that you adhere it to the bed.
And then you printed it on the Sigma.
Printed on the Sigma, and I was using 175 here, so it came out a little oozy, and the joints sort of melted together.
Oh no, that's typically what happens to all double jointed parts that I printed. Why does this happen?
I tried it on the Type A as well, exact same thing. The parts were just fused together.
So what's the problem on that?
We'll talk about how we fix it on the Sigma a little bit later.
All right, well then.
But let's take a look at how to make a dual extrusion print using Simplify.
All right.
So once you load the model, you can see that it's just one full mesh here. So what you do is you go into your mesh settings, and under the separate connected surfaces is where you can break apart all of those. So it might look a little scary after it does that. You can see in the left corner there all those separated meshes, and it's just because of all of the little textures that are on the head there. So you can just click through there and you can see it highlight all of those. So the way to group all those together is you shift select the bottom and then to the top one, and then hit Control G to group all those together, and you can see that all those are connected into one. And then you can go through and figure out which surface is what, so you can do every other section of the snake to be a different color. So I'm just going through and doing that, and then you're just going to hit Control or Command on a Mac, G, to group those together. And you can see there that all these will be selected for every other body, and inside the when you go inside each process, you can tell it what nozzle will print what. So just a little bit of bug here in Simplify 3D in terms of being able to group groups. So once you figure out what the head sections were for that, you can ungroup those, which is Command or Control Shift G, and then regroup everything back together so it's all under one group.
Yeah.
You can see there now I just made two groups.
Because ultimately you want two groups, one color, two different colors.
So what you're going to want to do from here is export these as an STL. So you just go to Export Models, Export Binary STL. You just save an A and a B version of that.
Sure.
So it just looks like this.
Or blue and red, or whatever color you want.
And the main reason I'm exporting these out as separate models is because if you go ahead and try to select inside your process what nozzle you want to print with it, just a little bit of a bug on there, and it does not group it all together.
That's too much. So by exporting out as a single STL, you're greatly simplifying the Simplify.
And because I imported those models inside of Cura for printing on the Ultimaker 3, you need to do that.
Okay.
Because I don't think Cura has an ability to separate any of the connected surfaces.
Interesting. So that's a big feature that makes this possible, is being able to separate sort of parts from a single STL. So that's really, really cool. And with that, you kind of took advantage and made it a dual extruded part. You're going to
I'm going to post this as a remix,
okay,
and put the video on there.
Cool.
People seem to like the snake. I thought it was a little goofy,
No,
especially since it took me like 5 tries to get the end animation part just because of the popping joints there. So I did try dual extruding this on the FlashForge Creator Pro, and I had to use a ooze shield here because of the nozzles are not independent, so
you almost always have to use an ooze shield or a pillar. A pillar wouldn't work here because you're still going to get the contamination.
The ooze shield acts as like a wipe, so that the other nozzle that's not in use can wipe away any excess material that's oozing out.
And one of the downsides of having this type of dual extrusion setup, since the nozzles don't retract, you're kind of always fixed, right? They're always fixed, and is there a way to calibrate the X?
There should be, because that's one of the reasons why this ultimately failed, even though it printed out the like I was saying before, the hinges for this are 1 parameter thick.
So this would just printed on the FlashForge Dual. It broke, right?
Yeah, just because the parts are all fused together like that here. Yeah, it's so thin that the precision on this has to be exact, otherwise it'll fuse into the other section of the body.
So a little bit of calibration is required on that
I'm gonna need
FlashForge.
calibration on the FlashForge.
All right, and then I have another time lapse here. Let's see what's the next one after that. Looks like.
So after it had failed on the Sigma, luckily there was a firmware upgrade out for it that fixes some of the motor control.
It's like
problems.
Christmas.
Yeah.
You get a new one.
So you just use Cura 1.5, I believe. It's their version of Cura for BCN. Just connect it through USB and grab the release candidate 1.2.2 firmware that is on their GitHub page.
Your GitHub page.
There it is. Is it showing?
So github.com/bcn3d, and then it'll show up right on one of their pinned projects.
So what you want to do is go over to the branch section and make sure that you are on 122 RC.
Yeah.
And then you want to clone or download the zip file for that. And you'll get this entire section. And when in this folder structure, when it's on your desktop, you want to grab the SD files, and you just want to delete all the ones that. And this is inside the LCD monitor, so you have to open up the little port that's on the inside of the printer with LCD. Just use a Phillips screwdriver to
Do they
pop that
offer
out.
a tutorial or something?
Yeah, there is a video tutorial on that.
Okay.
I shot video of this for last time I shot the firmware.
The first.
So it's easy enough.
All right,
it's
cool.
It's right behind the LCD screen. So you replace all the files with that, and you go into the compiled firmware section of that, and inside of Cura, you'll locate the .hex file for that, and it takes about 5 minutes to flash the new firmware. And it's going to adjust the way that the motors are controlled for that.
So after that, you tried another dual extrusion print.
And
with
this
much
came
success.
out phenomenal. The oozing was almost non-existent on this. I'm using a 6.5 millimeter retraction on all these and a 150 microns for the layer resolution. And it came out really well.
So you had a pillar,
actually,
right?
Yeah, I did have a pillar. I just used all the default settings that they have inside of their Cura.
So this was sliced with
profile.
their Cura profile.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also a brim. Brim is
A brim,
definitely
yeah.
excellent.
I didn't want to take any precautions, or I wanted to take precautions to make sure that it adhered to the bed. I didn't want to print this more times. I printed enough snakes already.
I printed so many snakes in my day. And here she is.
So it has very loose...
These are pythons, right?
very loose, hinges, so they're excellent for doing that. I really would have loved to do the animation on this one because it's super small.
Oh, on the
for
time lapse,
joints.
you did a stop motion animation, which was
so these came
pretty
out
nice.
excellent, and I think I have video on there too of just the great job that it did for precision-wise and printing out all of the hinges.
Here's how you know you got a great calibrated dual extruder.
Yeah.
Look at
Like
that.
I was saying before, it's 1 parameter thick on all these, so you have to be super precise on that.
A little bit of an ooze on the infill, but hey, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, on the inside it's okay. And a little bit where it's going back to the pillar there, you can kind of see, but
I don't
nothing that's
see any
show-stopping.
contaminations, yeah.
So I did an excellent job there. So definitely get that 122 firmware upgrade if you have your BCN Sigma. And then of course I printed a single extrusion on the BCN Sigma, and same thing. The hinges are super tough and super loose, so they're nice and flexible.
Great comparison, though. You got the FlashForge Dual, you got the Ultimaker Dual, and the Sigma Dual.
So in comparing the
Dual.
the ones that actually came out pretty good, the Sigma looks a little bit better than the Ultimaker.
No way.
Yeah, in terms of the hinges being
That's awesome.
more loose. I have to go to the Sigma on that one.
Both sliced with Curas?
Both sliced with Cura, yeah.
Cool.
So very similar paths on that.
Cool. I really like the tip on splitting models and grouping them to make a dual extruded version of it. Pretty cool.
Yes, these are not MicroPythons.
No MicroPythons?
Oh, I should have printed it in the MicroPython colors, huh? Yellow and blue.
It would have made sense. What is our snake? Blinka?
Blinka.
Are these all Blinkas?
Yeah, they're all Blinkas.
Cool. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks for the tip. I hope you guys found something useful out of that one.
And then
Definitely some cool tips there.
Yeah, and then continuing on with the shop talk.
Shop talk.
Not only did Sigma come out with the firmware upgrade, but this morning,
I got an update too.
Ultimaker 3 also came out with one. So if you are on the Ultimaker 3, if you go into your print settings,
vastly simpler.
system, maintenance, and then update firmware, and under the stable version, you can see there that they have uploaded a new firmware. Super easy to do. Just go through the menu and click on it, and it takes about, I want to say,
30 seconds.
10 minutes. Now it downloads and then it starts flashing it from there. So
have you ran any tests with it?
I have not run one test.
I did this morning.
I updated it and then we had to get ready for the show.
Okay.
So if anybody is on this latest version, let us know. There's a bunch of updates that are with it. It has a faster active leveling. Print core calibration is now correcting for over extrusion. We have some stability in the NFC read and write. Some build plate actions. Now it moves out of the way when you're changing in print core, so you won't burn your hand. You have some UI text updates, and power usage and stability are added to this new firmware. So definitely check it out. I don't want to run another snake test, so I'll print something else out.
Okay. Maybe a spinner.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And how did you know about the update? Did they email you, or did you get a fancy notification on your phone?
I think it's just like on, I want to say Facebook maybe. Just like their page and it comes up there.
All right.
So definitely check it out. And it's safe too to periodically check the menu inside there.
All right, well, that was this week's Shop Talk. A lot of updates, great tips, man. I like that. I like it when there's useful tips and stuff.
Oh, look, Roger Ucida is in the chat from BCN3D.
Roger, thank you for joining us. It came out excellent.
Yeah,
Probably
very good
one of the
job
best.
on that firmware.
That's
very
great.
good, very good.
Cool. All right, well, you know what time it is now? It's time for Community Makes. This is where we highlight and showcase some projects from around the community from folks like you. So the first project that caught my eye was from PinShape. This is from Keegan, who put together I just love joysticks and retro gamepads. You know me, I love gaming stuff. This is a really cool one. It's got 12 buttons, right? No, six buttons, sorry. 6 buttons, a joystick, and it has an embedded Pi. So inside the controller itself is a Pi. So I think that's pretty neat. I don't think I've done that yet. Usually the controller connects to the console, but the console is all inside the joystick, which is really neat. So it's a cool project. I don't have much info on it, but other than that, it was cut in half and then joined together to fit on a small print bed. Just kind of showcasing that you can print a big item without a big bed. Cool. This one is from Thingiverse user HGEB Hearth. He put together an awesome alarm clock using an Adafruit Featherwing, the alphanumeric Featherwing, and a Raspberry Pi. It also has an amplifier to power the speaker, so you could do a lot of different things. Tell you the time. Connects to the internet because it's a Pi. Connects over Wi-Fi. He's got his GitHub. His code is up on GitHub, and there's a wiki on how to put it together. He put a nice video together as well, which is excellent. I really love it and appreciate makers who put the time and effort to make a little build video as they're building it. It's very difficult to do. Take it from me, but it's very, very fun. Very fun video of just building it. So check that out if you haven't already. Printed on his Ultimaker 2, and here's the end result. Pretty cool. I like it. Nice enclosure too. Very simple and useful. Good stuff. So check that out. It's going to be on the blog, and all the files are up here. All the code is up on GitHub. Cool. And there's a guide, so that's amazing. Good stuff.
Next up is the TImesquare watch.
Oh, the TImesquare watch. I don't have that listed, but it is a cool one.
By our very own Dano Wall.
Yeah.
Who is, crap, I forgot his title. Head of
fabrication
at Adafruit.
Yeah.
So definitely follow him on Instagram if you want to check out some of his behind the scenes on 3D printing and a lot of the test jigs that we use for all of
behind the scenes of manufacturing in
Dano works on those.
In Adafruit in New York. He was on the show when we went to New York. Great guy.
So check this out. It is compatible with the Apple Watch bands. And
is it?
Yeah, he says he links down there too.
That's awesome. Great job, Dana.
Yeah, since they're like $6.
I think this is a kit, right, that we sell that you can get? The TImesquare watch?
There's a learning guide on it, so if you want to click on that too, he shows you how to build
on there. Oh, yes. Huh?
Check it out.
Dope.
Super cool.
It's so dope. Great stuff. I think he laser cut this. Yeah, he laser cut this in like gold.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Or you can 3D print it. Oh man, that's awesome. Great job, Dana. Thank you for sharing that. So that'll be on the blog, and you can find this on the Adafruit Learning System as well. And the last project, another joystick. Look at this project. This is called a Joystick for RC Tank. This was by Banny on Thingiverse. I just love the look and the simplicity, the minimalisticness of this project is awesome.
And check out the side handles. Look how smooth they are. I thought it was like a rubber piece.
No, this 3D printed.
Wow.
That just shows you how you can finish something, sand it down, and sand, Bondo, sand and Bondo. Create some really beautiful surfaces. In the guts, it's got a teensy, an XB radio to control the tank, some 2 thumbsticks, battery, and a handful of other circuits. Very cool.
Very cool.
Not much of a learning guide or anything in here, but it's just a great example, inspiration project designed in Tinkercad, I believe. That looks like not Tinkercad, 123D Design. Schematics are there. That's cool. Very, very awesome inspiration. I like it a lot. And that's this week's Community Makes. Ooh, back into the tunnel. Woo. If you guys would like to share your projects with me, I'd love to share them on the blog and Twitter and beyond. You can email us directly at support@adafruit.com, or you can hit us up on any of the social channels. I'm Ekin, and Pedro's Video Pixel, and we're on all of these fine networks here. All those.
All right, now it's time for this week's Q&A. If you guys have any questions, type them in the chat box on YouTube and on Facebook.
Yep.
Let's see. Hold the tail horizontally so the snake will move like an actual snake. Let's see if it'll do that.
What do you mean?
You remember those one snakes where you could like hold them like that and it would like...
Oh, it would go like this?
Yeah, it's actually not that type of snake.
No, it's not that type of snake. The joints would have to be all in one, because the joints are kind of, every other joint goes this way or that way.
Yeah, one goes on the X, one goes on the Z.
Yeah.
One thing I did forget to mention on printing it in PLA PHA is that it's so smooth. I was comfortable giving this to my 3-year-old
First try
to play around with, because there's no sharp edges on this. So
yeah.
Gavin,
and it didn't break. He's a kid. He likes to break things.
Yeah, you know, a 3-year-old, when you hand him a toy, he's immediately going to start trying to break it.
Yeah.
These survived very well. True Tech is saying the Sigma is a Cadillac.
Yeah, it is a Cadillac. It sounds like a Cadillac. She's so loud.
What I really like about the big motors on that is sometimes you'll get like strikes on some of the other printers.
Crunch right through it. It's a truck. It's
like sometimes when like parts curl up and a printer can get the nozzle can like hit it and it'll miss a line. Mm-hmm. That won't happen on the Sigma, because you know the torque that it has on it just goes right through it.
Well, then it could take the printer off the bed.
Yeah, that's true. But it won't mess up your print. Well, no.
All right, cool.
It just won't skip.
Will Ninjaflex work on the MakerBot Smart Extruder? MakerBot doesn't support. I'm scared to try. You know what?
Didn't Aiden have the print Ninjaflex on his Mini, which uses a Smart Extruder?
It uses a Smart Extruder?
Yeah.
It might. Ask
I
Aiden.
might try with
XYZ Aiden on Twitter. Give him a tweet and see if it works. I think it will, I guess.
It might work with the Cheetah Ninjaflex. So it's
the Cheetah Ninjaflex?
Yeah, so it's the shore hardness is a little bit tougher I forget what it is, but that might work because it works on Bowden extruders as well.
Frederick is asking, do we know the creative section of Twitch? Yeah, we aren't streaming on Twitch because my bandwidth doesn't allow it, so I opt in for just Facebook and YouTube. But Tony D and all of Phil's shows, Lamar and Phil from the Desk of Lady Ada and Ask Engineer, all of those are streamed through Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and Periscope, and all of the networks.
Yeah.
We just don't have the capacity here in our
we're getting
town.
fiber. I forget
Maybe
when the
this
date
year?
is. Yeah.
Holy
so
snaps.
maybe that's
So if
when
we
we'll
get
do
fiber, we will absolutely
When we get it,
try
yeah.
to do multicast streaming. But yeah, the creative section is awesome. I follow quite a few people on that. Probably my favorite streamer is streaming right now, actually. Bob Claggett from I Like to Make Stuff. He streams every Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Yep.
We conflict with schedules, but I always catch it on the pre-recorded.
Are there many different types of dual extrusion systems? What are pros and cons of each? So yeah, each one of these was printed with a different type of extruder. The FlashForge has the extruders next to each other, so they all move as one.
Mm-hmm.
The Sigma has them independently, so each one can move away. The Ultimaker 3 has them combined, but it has the ability to move each extruder up and down.
Yeah, and then you have things like the Prusa MK2, is it?
Yeah. Where it's using 4 motors to combine.
Yeah, one nozzle but 4 different motors.
Yeah.
This
that's another way
warrants
to do
a
it.
video, I think. I think it might be something down the
a good
line that we
idea,
do, because
actually.
right now it takes a little bit too much. We just wanted to showcase the results that we got, as opposed to showing the comparison of them mechanically, if that makes sense, yeah. It's just a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the cons of having it together is you have to contamination.
Calibration.
I don't know how to write code to make it, have one of them cool.
Oh,
while
you'd
the other
have to
one's
do some
printing.
serious G-code.
Yeah,
writing.
the Ultimaker does that actually.
Yeah, it cools down, but it also retracts it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the Sigma has a purge.
Yeah, it
system.
moves all the way to one of the sides.
Parks it, and then
has a little wipe nozzle to get rid of any oozing.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that might warrant a video.
Cool. And then David Adams is asking, what's your workflow and or tool flow to import and modify meshes from Thingiverse into Fusion 360? For example, import an enclosure STL and then add your brilliant snap fit enclosure modifications. Yeah, that's something I haven't done yet, but I've answered this like 3 times now in the past week. How do I turn an STL into a solid? And Fusion has that ability to do so. There is...
You guys actually have to subscribe to Fusion 360's YouTube channel because they frequently put out really good tip videos on how to import STLs, how to modify them, turn them into solids so that they're native formats inside of Fusion.
So there's quite a few tutorials on it, working with STLs. I'd probably do this one here, working with STL files in Autodesk Memento. So there's a way to convert it, all the tessellation and triangles into a solid, and then you can actually modify that solid.
Which is the way that I would totally go with.
Yeah.
Before they had that, I would just, if I had something that I wanted to trace, quote unquote trace, I would just have the mesh inside there and recreate all of the solids or surfaces inside of Fusion.
Yeah, so just do a Google search of it. Here's a quick rundown of it. I'm showing it. It's an STL. I know it's not an enclosure, but it just showcases.
The enclosure is going to be way easier since it doesn't have all these
triangles,
and triangles.
So I think there's a third-party app that converts it for you.
Their third-party app.
Yeah,
I think it's built in.
And then you can pull
Fusion
faces and stuff. Yeah, it might be built into Fusion now, but it is absolutely possible. Just do a quick search and do a little homework there.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet, but that's a good point. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, watch the video. You have to turn it on actually inside of the preferences.
Oh, okay. It's hidden by default. Great.
Inside of Fusion, yeah, it's not turned on by default. So check that out on the steps you need to take for that.
All right.
Aptpupil is saying that for his Cube 3 with dual extruders, his problem is the nozzle dragging across the other layers. Yep, that is the problem with
some of the
connected.
Yeah.
So the way that we get around this, or the Sigma and the Ultimaker, and you could implement this into the flash forward too, is having the bed retract every time it's the film is retract, the Z-hop, yeah. So as it's printing, it'll retract downwards, go over, and then come back up, and that'll help with.
I believe
nozzles
the Cube
dragging.
have their own slicers and the proprietary lockdown, so I don't think you can use Cura or something.
Right.
There may or may not be a option for Z-hopping. So
Yeah. Frederick is asking, is PLA strong enough to make a stool chair that has the strength, or that where the material of the strength doesn't change over time? So the chair that I printed,
yeah, as long as the legs aren't PLA.
yeah.
If they're wood or something like that, you should be fine.
So I did have to use PLA PHA for this chair that I 3D printed, specifically because of the strength of the PLA PHA. The regular PLA would have been too brittle.
This is PLA PHA?
This is PLA PHA, the natural PLA PHA, and the strength is coming from the infill that I'm using on this. So if you want to check back on, I forget what episode on 3D Hangouts when we released the project for this, I'll talk about how the infill, I'm changing the angle of the infill to make it sort of like a spider web almost, so where it's sort of crossing on top of it. I have little Ninjaflex feet on there for rubber grip. And yeah, that's the way I 3D printed the chair with a PLA PHA.
Okay.
Let me check that out. The PLA would have, it would have been too brittle and definitely would have broken when you sat down.
We tried it, and you sat on it, and it crunched.
It did crunch, yeah.
It has a crunchy sound to it.
Little bottom parts right here didn't, weren't able to hold up with regular PLA.
Okay.
But with PLA PHA, works beautifully. And if you haven't checked out the chair project, just go onto our Google or on our YouTube and look for that. It's really cool because it lights up, has a Bluetooth connectivity, so you can change all the colors and all that cool stuff on there. So super cool project. Check it out.
Cheese chair. Block of cheese.
It's a guitar stool.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for the questions. Thank you for joining us on our first episode of 2017. I gotta go to the bathroom and blow my nose and do stuff, so I gotta end the show. But thank you guys for coming again.
Thank y'all for joining in the chat room.
I appreciate you guys
big
hanging
shout
out
outs
with
to
us.
everybody there, hang out with us every
Later
week.
tonight, we're gonna be on the show and tell. It starts at 7:30 p.m. If you guys want to share your projects, you could totally do so. Hang out on the Google Plus page, the Adafruit Google Plus page, where you can get invited and share whatever you're working on. It could be retro tech or anything like that.
Yep,
Again, 7:30 p.m.
We're there every week, so stop by, say hi.
Yep. A lot of usual faces there. I think we'll see some special ones tonight as well. Ask Engineer is a full hour of Lamar and Phil. Raspberry Pi news, Arduino news, new products, and more at the
Secret new products that Lamar and Phil are working on.
They're so secret that we
don't
share
want
them.
to miss that.
They're so secret we share them. That's again Ask Engineer and Show and Tell back to back. We took a little break, but Tony D's going to be back, and so is Lamar from the desk of Lady Ada. What else?
And then don't forget to
Colin
check
Pseudorandom
out,
is still happening.
And then a new episode of Circuit Playground.
Yeah, check out the new Circuit Playground came out. Was it K for Kit?
Yep. So definitely, if you have young children, definitely show them a whole playlist of that.
Yeah, start with A, work your way down to K. Cool. Well,
and that's going to be it for this episode. Yep. Everybody remember to
like, share, subscribe.
Use
the coupon code if you are feeling like you need some stuff.
Yep, that's how we pay for everything that we do here. So forget to buy something once in a while.
And it supports us. It supports the show.
And it should support
your habit.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, well, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week, but until next time.
Happy New Year. Make this the best maker year ever.
And may the pretty gods be in your favor.
See you guys.